here. This'll do.
How about this?
you're there. mother had to do to get you released from this.
Wait, what? A strong cup of coffee after a long night of work. Yum yum. I haven't checked any mails yet. What? Oh god, is that me? The last girl is back with me. Most viewed video? Oh no. Oh no. What if Bob sees it? I can't believe that those scumbags released last night's visuals online. I agreed to be taped because they promised that they will keep it for their private collection only. Oh lord, who is this pervert? Private sessions? Is this dude out of his mind? I am a married woman and not a working woman. It was just a one-time deal, for Christ's sake. Damn, 50,000. Fuck, that too for one session. Can't say no to that.
As twilight descends, Mrs. Helen Hall, a married woman, becomes the enigmatic hostess in a stranger's penthouse, inviting an air of mystery and debauchery.
Wow. There appears to be a few guys already waiting for me.
Hello, Helen. We've been waiting for you with great anticipation.
Nice.
Come on in. The night is still young.
Damn, she is much more attractive in person than in photographs and videos.
Absolutely.
Hello, gentlemen. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
It's your turn now to hold your hat.
All right, let's get it started.
Fuck being good, I'm a bad bitch. I'm sick of motherfuckers trying to tell me how to live. Rap hoes hate under my pictures on the gram. Bitch, you better hope I never run across your man. In the mall with him, I'ma have a ball with him. Somebody call Rihanna, I'ma buy some draws with him. He fucking with the stallion cause he in the wild women. Big legs on his head, now he love tall women. You'll never catch me calling these niggas daddy. I ain't lying by my nut just to make a nigga happy. Lifestyle when a nigga can't fit a magnum. It never happened if the dick wasn't snapping. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit. Finish shit come on my outfit. I don't text quick, cause I ain't thirsty. These bitches mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit. Finish shit come on my outfit. I don't text quick, cause I ain't thirsty. These bitches mad, they wanna hurt me. Any rumor about me, let me get it. I'm an open book, and you man probably read it. Look at my ID and these hoes still pathetic. Real bitches back when I check my protect. Yeah, he call me patty cake, cause the way that ass shake. I'ma make them eat me out while I'm watching anime. Pussy like a wall box, looking for a Sasuke. One night with them, make them lose it like a prom date. Two watches, yeah, call me two-timing. Skin like gold and my teeth like diamonds. Hot girl chain, Elliot, got me shining. They tried to knock me off, but a bitch still grinding. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit. Finish shit come on my outfit. I don't text quick, cause I ain't thirsty. These bitches mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit. Finish shit come on my outfit. I don't text quick, cause I ain't thirsty. These bitches mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a rich nigga magnet, pretty with a fatty. 30-inch weave with the long eyelashes. Yes, I got a man. If I don't like who asking, I don't stand outside cause I'm too outstanding. Cause the girls in the hood are always hard. Ever since 16, I've been having a job. Knowing nothing in life, but I gotta get rich. You could check the throwback pics, I've been that bitch. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit. Finish shit come on my outfit. I don't text quick, cause I ain't thirsty. These bitches mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit. Finish shit come on my outfit. I don't text quick, cause I ain't thirsty. These bitches mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit. Finish shit come on my outfit. I don't text quick, cause I ain't thirsty. These bitches mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl, I do hot shit.
as much as I did. I never thought you guys would come so quickly. I had anticipated spending more time with you guys.
Don't worry. We've been taking performance-enhancing drugs in preparation for tonight. We'll keep our dicks hard all night long and help us ejaculate more frequently than usual. Feel free to keep entertaining us.
Damn it, Helen. If these guys keep on going like this, I will be stuck here the whole night. Need to make sure that these guys are trained faster. Need to act faster. Okay, boys, back to business.
Don't forget about me, lady.
Dang it! When am I going to return?
Hey, little guy, look what Daddy got for me.
Ow! When I tell him meet me in the backseat, he like how I hold a
Time to blackmail the shit out of her.
Yet another moment hits the Parr residence. Strained by the demands of domestic life, Helen Parr seeks an outlet for her untapped potential. In secret, admiration of this social exercise.
Are elastic. The face, the ass, the teeth, the curves are.
Is Hero's aunt and May's mom working out? Seduces.
I don't think it is a workout.
Good God. That's now 100% erotic fancy.
I have no idea how long I can hold this.
Try to control it, bro.
Ah, fuck. I can't hold it anymore.
got an itty bitty waist, pretty in the face. Never let a broke nigga take you on a date. Haters can't relate, bitch, I've never been fake. I got a real nigga putting icing on my cake. Icy from my lips and my fingers to my toenails. Dripping in Chanel.
I don't want to believe that this is my Helen.
Wrist on glitter, waist on thinner. I'ma show you how to bag an 8-figure nigga. Face on zaddy, pockets on jigger. You better get the card and make it swipe like Tinder. Private villa in the fire chiller. When he posts me, all the house get sicker. Up for a killer, I don't need fillers. Never been a lame, so the real bitches feel it. Daddy on the FaceTime, you can never take mine. End up on a dateline, Rich with no day job, bitch hit your wop. Always on the course side, Billionaire niggas wanna eat me out. Bitch, I'm from the West Coast, they wanna go down south. All these lame ass niggas tryna fuck for clout. I won't let him hit, but he can put it in his mouth.
Cass,
No waist,
try
ass
something to
bitch,
get their
cat
attention back.
On the dick, do it on the dick, girl. She look me in my eyes when she do it, she a big girl. I might have to tap in. I love
Fragments of infidelity.
got an itty bitty waist, pretty in the face. Never let a broke nigga take you on a date. Haters can't relate, bitch, I've never been fake. I got a real nigga putting icing on my cake. it for a verse, bitch, I'm way too pricey. Fuck around and bring back hyphy. Low waist, fat ass, bitch, tap in. Tap,
Don't let
tap,
this
tap
bitch
in.
win.
Diamonds dancing
Come
on
on,
your neck,
Cass.
nigga,
Let's
tap
go.
in. Tap, tap, tap in. Fucking nigga, get rich, bitch, tap in. Tap, tap, tap in. MLB, icy gang, nigga, tap in. Tap, tap, tap in.
In the confines of the local gymnasium, a drama unfolds amongst her.
Here.
Mrs. Parr, a new arrival, disrupts the established social order with a display of captivating dance moves, seeking to attract the attention of the younger males. This unexpected challenge compels Mrs. Hamada and Mrs. Lee, the previous frontrunners, to counter with their own display of sensuality, attempting to reclaim their dominance through the art of dance. The gym becomes a stage.
We can't lose!
How boring.
Most impressive.
Video is now close to a whole million views. Terrifying. In that ancient video where I sound like I'm recording at 2 a.m. and I don't want to wake up my parents, even though I recorded that when I lived alone, I explained why tieflings have become as popular as they are now. We're not gonna do that again. You can watch the ancient video if you feel like knowing. No. As I said, in this video, I got to see and touch and feel and smell and whatever. Mr. Dungeons and Mr. Dragons and their friends, the beachy wizards, asked if they could sponsor this video so I could get a preview of how tieflings are gonna look and play and work in these brand new core books they're putting out in 2024. And I'm a tiefling enjoyer, so of course I said yes. I wanna see so bad, and we're gonna dive straight into these tieflings. Let's rephrase that. We're gonna analyze these new tieflings, but to do so, we gotta understand where we started, what tieflings became in 5e, and what they're going to be in the future. And spoiler alert, I
got so frustrated with ads on YouTube, I was watching more commercials than content. Privacy ad block.
thoughts. So first off, don't let any of these people that cosplay as experts on the game tell you that tieflings are
Very good.
This'll do.
Okay, so I was just looking at what's gonna happen next. I am to return back to Tokyo, because you know last when we talked to those two people and everything, and yeah, like a lot after that, a lot of stuff is gonna end up happening. So yeah, so right now I'm just gonna do like I did before, grind, get a lot of money, get probably like 1 million yen, and everything. Try to at least get to like level 70, because then when this thing happens, I might end up changing, because I can already get this back made. And actually yeah, I can get that back made. Yeah, so basically that's what I'm just gonna be doing is
Here.
You know. No, I don't know what. I'm just trying to grind for XP, marker, and all of that stuff. So, when I do go back to Tokyo, I will put that up in the thing. So, back in Tokyo now, boom. You're gonna do it.
A new thing in D&D. Tieflings have been around since 1994. That's literally as old as my human familiar. Oh, look at him. It feels like I summoned him from the ether yesterday. Stop showing people in the email pictures of me as a baby. Oh,
This'll do.
Why am I bothering with the research? Human familiar. This is a tax write-off now. Okay, so I did some research. Tieflings were introduced to the world in 1994, along with The Lion King, Tonya Harding's creative take on the Olympics, Nelson Mandela's creation of the Mandela Effect, and me. They were introduced in the 2nd edition with Planescape, which is also in 5e. They were sold as human mixed with something else. Yep, that vague. They initially didn't even make it clear that the something else was fiends. They clarified this later on, but specified that they were not half fiends or cambions, which are what happens when the succubus wins at the intrusive thoughts game. The gaslight gatekeeping boss babe that was the best part of Will's story in Baldur's Gate 3 is one of these. She's not a tiefling. The tiefling's fiendish ancestry is further up the family tree. Think less son of Satan and more satanic great grandma. Tieflings at this time were very much a thing called plane touched, which is people that are specifically tied to a plane. This aspect of their design will be gradually erased away like a pencil stain, starting in 3rd edition, where they were introduced to the Forgotten Realms, taking them away from the planescape limbo they were designed in and into vanilla D&D. Vanilla D&D makes it sound like this is an MMO or something, but you know, the Forgotten Realms are very much vanilla D&D. Fairy and Tanaruk tieflings.
No, I don't know how these are pronounced. I tried to find it. Don't tell the hat.
Those two were also introduced here. Fairy and Tanaruk are for elves and orcs what tieflings are to humans, except these tend to be much more evil. But it's interesting to see that Tiflianity is a thing that can happen to things other than humans. It's interesting for what comes later. Oh, I can do that too? The 3.5 edition pushes Tiefling back into the plain touch box they came from. Not much to say here, but 4th edition does something interesting by putting them back into the player's handbook. They also literally got an entire book, even if it's a tiny one, all to them. This is a sign. Tieflings were gaining power. They were getting stronger, even then, by virtue of people being weirdly horny about them, and then being, you know, actually horny. Like in a very literal sense. I feel like people don't really talk about this that much. Maybe it's because 4E gets a bad rep, but Tieflings were basically a core race in 4E. The Hat talked about this at length in the other video on Tieflings, but there is a very interesting write-up on William O'Connor, the guy that basically codified what Tieflings look like, and he goes into detail about how he went about designing them. And I quote, "I worked to give the Tiefling that sexy, dark, and gothic appeal. I carried this idea into everything about them, their clothes and equipment. Elegant and deadly." This worked. And so, we come into the almost current day with 5e. Tieflings have now exploded in popularity for a myriad of reasons that the Hat goes into detail in the other video, a big one being a certain obscure little show, and the very latest official writing on Tieflings is on Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, which gives Tieflings a whopping 9 different sub-races, one for each archtemple. Yeah, okay, history, we get it. You asked me to do this. Anyway, so now that we know how Tieflings happen and where they're from, we can finally get into what they're going to be. Okay, so to make a character in the current version of 5e, you do a sort of Powerpuff Girl mix of a bunch of different stuff. You throw in a race and a class. Mine are Hispanic and questionable. But for your character, it could be Elf Druid or Tiefling Warlock. Be careful, we wouldn't want to be too original. Your race decides what languages you know. And most importantly, where you get your ability score increases, with some races giving you extra strength, constitution, sexually weird stuff like charisma and iffy stuff like intelligence. Not gonna get into that. You can hold that can of worms. I don't want it near my comments. You also add a background, which basically is what your character did before they got into walking around, decimating the local fauna to save the world. Background examples are stuff like entertainer, athlete, acolyte, Waffle House employee, which is for fighters and barbarians only, and influencer. These are technically not just for flavor, but other than skill proficiencies, they are just for flavor in 5e. But not anymore.
As the Sentinel foretold, you and I were meant to cross paths.
That's right, we're finally talking about the changes. This is honestly my favorite change in all I've read in the preview. In the new core rulebook, you have one single thing called an origin, and your origin basically encompasses everything. Race has been changed to species, which is, you know, what they actually are, so good. But your origin also encompasses your background. Now, instead of you being, let's say, more intelligent because you're an elf, which, yikes, your ability scores are now tied to your background. Yes, backgrounds have received a massive buff in the 2024 rulebooks. You better invest in some background right now. Backgrounds not only grant you ability score increases, but every background gives you a feat. Yes, a feat. 2 skill proficiencies and a tool proficiency. This is across the board. All backgrounds get this. This massive shift in design makes it so that we center your character's history, what they actually did with their life and where they got their skills, rather than their race or species. Instead of knowing how to speak Minionese because they were born a minion, which never made sense even a little bit, especially for races like, I don't know, Tiefling, who are not particularly communal and can be born from non-Tiefling parents. Now, stuff like languages is something you've learned because of the life you've led. Ability score increases being tied to backgrounds makes way more sense, since it makes way more sense for you to be smart because you spend some days locked up working out of the library. More sense than you're smart because you have pointy ears. Real talk, I'm still gonna let my players put their +2 and +1s wherever they feel like, because what if you want to play a very smart pirate? But this makes way more sense than them being tied to race. So, if race has changed so much and they've lost ability score increases, what does that mean for the Tiefling? Well, as I said, the word for race is now species, and as a species, Tieflings have changed a bunch, and we'll be going through these changes in the internet's favorite format, a numbered list. So without further ado, number 1, flavor. The flavor text in 5e emphasized, among other things, which we'll get into, how much Tieflings are maligned. Now, I made an entire video as to why I think that is one of the keys to Tieflings' popularity as a race. The fact that they were perfectly set up to be woobified to hell and back. Get it? Hell. Tieflings. Anyway. Tieflings being maligned for something they have no control over makes them prime candidates for being woobies, and people love woobies. I've been following the crumbs Mr. Dungeon and Mr. Dragons have been releasing about these new books, and one of the work in progress ones for the Tiefling had flavor to the effect of, and now that so many Tieflings have been very, very good boys who went on many adventures and ate their vegetables and went to bed on time, everyone loves them now. So, can you tell I didn't like this? As someone who has been unfairly maligned for something I was born as and have no control over, watch the first 20 seconds of the video before this one to learn more, I didn't like this. Like, not even a little bit. Tieflings are appealing as heroes for the same reason the X-Men are appealing as heroes. Getting rid of this strips them of what makes them tick. What makes them... Honestly, I hate this word and how overused it is, but it's what makes them empowering to people. Yeah, that and you can pick the color, and that's fun. Fortunately, the D&D gods heard my pleas, and this is completely absent in the new core rulebooks. They've gone down the middle. There's no flavor text about how Tieflings are universally hated by everybody ever, and they live in bags of garbage and eat cheese made out of rat milk, which, you know, there was a lot of that in 5e. And there's more about their choice in the matter. There's a sentence in the flavor text of the new book that sums it up perfectly. A Tiefling chooses whether to embrace or lament their fiendish legacy. And I think that's neat. It doesn't pack the same punch as genetically engineered to be a wooby and or edgelord, but it leaves the door open to that, or to people that don't want to play that. I'm always for more player and DM choice, so this is a good change in my book. Moving on from woobies and into family tree, tieflings have gotten a baby bit of an update there. They are born in the lower planes, which I think is new, or have a fiendish ancestor who originated the horny trend. I'm kinda sad we got rid of the my grandpa made a deal with the devil and now every third cousin comes out horny, but oh well. And most importantly guys, most importantly, there's no talk of alignments. Yes, that's right, there's no more of that. They tend towards chaotic alignments or whatever. It's done. It's done. The evil is defeated. I mean, in the species that is, it's still there in the books, but baby steps, y'all, baby steps. Okay, so flavor done for the most part. We'll get back into it a little bit. Let's move on to the big one. Number 2, legacies. Legacies are a brand new thing introduced with these new books. Remember when I moaned and whinged about them getting rid of sub-races in Monsters of the Multiverse? Well, they're back. Instead of sub-races, since races are now, say it with me y'all, species, sub-races are now legacies, and I love them. I love the Tiefling legacies so much more than the 5e ones. In 5e, with the release of Mordenkainen, Tieflings got like 72 sub-races that all link to a very specific devil. They were confusing, they felt samey, they rely on a bunch of knowledge about super specific named characters that like 90% of the player base doesn't know that well. And worst of all, they didn't do that much in terms of flavor. You just picked them for what traits each of them got you. In the new core rulebooks for 2024, Tieflings got 3 lineages. You think that's bad? It isn't. Each of these 3 is, in my opinion, miles better than anything we got in 5e for Tieflings. Y'all know how much I love the Kiss method. Keep it simple, stupid. And these lineages are that method in action. And it works great. Let's look at them. Oh god, I'm already a number list. This happens way too often. Number A, the Infernal Legacy. The Infernal Legacy is what you think of when you think Tiefling. Smooth skin, smooth horns, golden eyes, and apparently the smell of sulfur? Like rotten eggs.
Whew, Shrek, did you do that?
Let's workshop that, guys. We were going for sexy, remember? Anyway, these are your Tieflings Tiefling. This ancestry is here to represent devils, the 9 hells, your devil's devil, the classic. The infernal ancestry states that whatever fiend got frisky with great-great-great-grandpappy was most likely a devil. It represents lawful evil, ergo the 9 hells, but also Gehenna and Acheron get a mention there. We'll do a primer on planes someday. But you know this one. This is Vanilla Tiefling, the iconic. But what about demons? You say, as if someone liked demons better than devils in D&D.
And the devil laughs.
Well, number B. Demon enjoyers, rejoice. You get a legacy all to yourself. The Abyssal Legacy. This one is linked to the Abyss, duh. But also, we get some mention of other planes like Pandemonium and Cursori. What I love about them is how much they feel like demons and look like demons. That's right, we're finally getting clear visual distinctions between the two. Where Infernal Tieflings have smooth horns with a smooth transition between skin and horn, Abyssal ones have rough, jagged horns. The features mentioned also include fur, tusks, and peculiar scents? Like what, rotten egg again? What's up with the stink factor in these guys?
Smells like success to me.
Anyway, they look rougher, almost beastly, and I think that's sick. I hope this is a through line for all devils and demons in the new book so we can actually tell them apart finally. But I talked about 3 legacies. If one is devils and one is demons, what's the third one? Well, number C. I don't blame you for forgetting, but there's actually a third type of fiend, Yugoloths. If devils are lawful evil and demons are chaotic evil, Yugoloths are neutral evil. And they're having a moment right now in D&D with that furry looking lady in the Planescape tie-in adventure being one of them. Real talk, when it comes to fiends, I love devils, I tolerate demons, and I don't think about Yugoloths at all. Or that was until this new legacy, the Chthonic Legacy. Cannot wait to see how people who do not know how this is pronounced butcher this name. This is the legacy associated with Yugoloths, and it's probably my favorite. It almost feels Fae-esque. In the description, we get more into it, with them having the most diversity in looks. Some are described as cadaverous, but some are described as 100% baddies looking like succubi and incubi, and some are described as looking similar to night hags, which, yes, yes, I love hags so much. The art really sells this with their horns being more like branches of a tree and them being purple. I love them. Oh my god, yeah, I can't believe it took me this long to mention it. Remember that whole thing about the writing on tieflings being like, tieflings are red, but some official art having them be purple, and people taking that suggestion and completely ignoring it? Well, people were right. We're eating good tonight, everybody. Technicolor tieflings are canon. Look at that spread. Crayola is quaking. Okay, so we've talked about flavor, we've talked about legacies and their history, but what can you do as a tiefling? Well, number 3, traits. Since species are no longer tied to ability scores, thank God, they are all about traits, which is just a species-related word for abilities. Let's go through the changes. First up, size. That's right, the changes in the mom book are still in effect. Tieflings can now be small. Ooh, this makes it so Wizard of the Coast is paying me to say this. Anyway, they can be small. This makes extra sense as you can make it so a goblin or a halfling was the one that got created with the devil. Solid. Tieflings get dark vision, which of course it's D&D, but nothing about it being in shades of gray anymore. The tieflings are Technicolor and see in Technicolor in the dark. In all the years I've been playing D&D, the whole can only see in shades of gray has not come up ever, but I'm sure someone out there is writing a Reddit post about how D&D is ruined now because tieflings can tell what colors somebody's eyes are in the dark. F to them. Creature type and speed are always the same, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on to the actual fun ones. Fiendish Legacy is basically one big massive trait that changes depending on, guess. That's right, your legacy. This trait evolves, meaning you get fun stuff at level 1, level 3, and level 5. Let's look at them. Infernal Tieflings are the Charmander of Tieflings, in that they get resistance to fire and the Firebolt cantrip at level 1, and that they come from the deepest layers of hell. At level 3, they get Magical Your Mom, and at level 5, they get Darkness? These feel very baseline tiefling, which makes sense for Infernal. Abyssal tieflings, the demon ones, go with the whole beastly angle and get resistance to poison. I'm assuming because animals can be poisonous. Poison damage is notoriously bad as a damaging option since nearly every monster resists it, but it's still as a player really good to resist poison since a ton of creatures are poisonous, which is probably why the animal-esque tieflings got this one. They also get the poison spray cantrip at level 1, fitting. At level 3, they get Ray of Sickness for more gross potential, and at level 5, they get Hold Person, which is one of the best spells in the game, so lucky them. I'm assuming this is because they're giving me Giga Chad tiefling vibes, so they can just hold people. I don't know, moving on. Chthonic tieflings, the weirdos based on Ubilots, get necrotic resistance, which is amazing, since most monsters that deal necrotic damage are really strong, and there is a bunch of them, nearly every undead. And as a level 1 spell, they get Wanna Come to My Place and Chill Touch at level 1. Extremely solid choice. At level 3, they get False Life, which is a very hack spell and an amazing source of self-healing that lasts for 1 hour. And at level 5, they get Ray of Enfeeblement, which makes anything that hits really hard because big muscles completely useless. Honestly, this is by far the best one. I'm telling y'all, Chthonic Legacy is where it's at. And finally, as their final trait, tieflings get Otherworldly Presence. You get Thaumaturgy. That's it. You get the Fanfic Eye spell. The My Eyes Change Depending on My Mood spell. The No, I Swear They're Green, They're Just Green If You Look at Them in the Sun spell. The I Close All Windows When I Enter Any Room for Fun spell. Neat. Okay, so you know as much as I do now. And overall, for me, personally, in my opinion, an improvement by a mile. Tieflings are my favorite race, or should I say species, along with dwarves. And I was really worried they were gonna strip them of what makes them so unique and so fun to build characters around. And they didn't. So what if we did? In my first tiefling video, I made a bunch of tiefling NPCs for y'all to use. What if for this one, we made a bunch of PCs? But what if we go above and beyond? What if we give them stat blocks and set them up for y'all to use them as playable characters or NPCs? What if we made one for each of the new lineages that are coming in 2024? Let's go. Okay, so for our first tiefling, we gotta go with the blueprint. The Infernal Legacy, since those are the iconic ones. Also, I love devils and I want to have fun. Since the Infernal Legacy is the tiefling's tiefling, the baseline, the OG, why don't we tell a very basic tiefling story and, at the same time, give it a twist in honor of the new books doing exactly that? What about someone that had everything to be rejected by their family, but they didn't? And since Infernal tieflings are related to devils, I'm thinking that contracts, secrets, and fine print are a must. What about Femme Fatale meets Spy Master? Let's go. Araceli had every reason to be disowned by her noble family led by a powerful matriarch. She was the product of a dalliance between her mother and an unknown tiefling man that left their lives as swiftly as he came. Araceli's mother had great plans for all her children, and most assumed this did not include her bastard daughter, and they couldn't be more wrong. That's right, this is the twist. Araceli's mother loved and cherished her tiefling daughter just as much as the children she had with her late husband. The world, however, did not agree with this assessment. While Araceli's siblings were set up to marry the heirs of powerful families or pursued ambitious political careers, the matriarch knew that Araceli would have to make a name for herself in the shadows. She was trained as a child to deal in subterfuge, to hide her true intentions behind a pleasant smile, to become the center of attention in 1 second and pass completely unnoticed the next. Araceli learned to use her status as a tiefling and as a bastard, as well as what her mother gave her, to lull powerful people into spilling all of their secrets. After all, what did it matter to powerful lords if some tiefling bastard knew of their indiscretions or their plans? Well, it mattered a great deal when Araceli used those secrets to her advantage. Maybe it was her connections to the Hells, but she had a natural knack for contracts and deals, and, more importantly, how to twist and bend them to her advantage. With the help of her mother, Araceli rose as the leader of a network of informants and spies. But all of this came crashing down when she found her mother's body laying dead on her bed, frozen in time, as she clawed at her throat with the telltale signs of poisoning nakedly on display. Araceli's mother had never shared all of her secrets with any of her children, but it was clear that one of these secrets had won her this fate. Araceli poured through her mother's writings and found a lead: her own father. It appears he might have been somehow involved in this, and Araceli will find out how, why, and take her life.
Cedar Hills is not exactly a noted hotbed of criminal activity.
That's not entirely true. There was that whole serial killer thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present...
Give Araceli high charisma, high intelligence, decent dex, make her a whisper bard, and presto, a true Infernal Legacy tiefling, ready to gaslight, gatekeep, and girlboss her way all the way down to the 9 hells. Okay, that one's done. Abyssal next. And I think we should lean hard on demonic, on the whole beastly thing we've got going on with the legacy. But what if we subvert it? Adai stands at nearly 7 feet tall, with his massive tail that extends for another 5 feet, ending in a tuft of coarse hair. From his lower lip protrude 2 thick tusks, and his enormous rough horns jet out from both sides of his head like a bow, angled forward and ready to stab. His eyes, just like his skin, are a deep blood red, piercing from sclera's back as nose. He's also the kindest person you could ever meet. Adai is basically unable to tell someone no when they ask him for anything. He is soft-spoken and shy with new people, but warms up extremely quickly to anyone that shows the smallest kindness to him. He enjoys cooking and crafting and is more of a gift giver than a gift receiver. Animals tend to congregate around him, either because they can sense his perpetually good intentions, or because he always kind of smells a bit like them. However, his extremely affable disposition did not, in fact, save him from the scorn of his peers, having to prove many times to many guards that he was a tiefling and not just an outright demon. This is what led him to join the Palace of Peculiarities, a traveling circus troupe that specializes in the unusual. Many of its members are extraplanar in nature, with fey ancestries and elemental natures being the norm there. Nobody really stands out at the palace, and everyone there understands what it's like to stand out in society. In the palace, he found work as a strongman, for obvious reasons, and bonded quickly with the cast of misfits, finding a chosen family that chose him in turn. But this is a D&D character, so disaster had to strike. And it did, in the form of a beautiful elven man. A lithe figure, hair as long as he was tall, and as white as snow, with plump lips that smiled a smile that did not reach his eyes. The elven man observed the troop after the show one night, and without saying a word, he flicked his wrist, and suddenly, members of the troop were bound in arcane chains. And I watched as more and more of his family was taken, disappearing right into the ground as the chains pulled them downwards, and the elf watched. And I grabbed a mallet he used in his show and charged at the elf, but it was like swinging through air. In a second, the elf was gone, and so was most of his family. And I traveled the world with one goal in mind, finding the elven man and the members of his troop. He noticed something. All members taken had extraplanar blood, almost as if the elven man was collecting them. What for? Give a die big boy strength, big boy con, and making a big boy barbarian. I'm thinking Path of the Beast for the abyssal flavor. Took a peek at the 2024 Barbarian Berserker, and guys, it's so much better than before. Okay, so for our last one, we have the weird ones. The ones I like the best. The Chthonic Legacy. Vibe here is weird. Odd-looking, Night Hag adjacent, Yukoloth coded, and apparently corpse-like. And since this is new and weird and my favorite, why don't we go all the way to mega weird? But what is weird to a tiefling? People that are literally defined as weird. Why don't we make an outcast among outcasts? Alma was always the odd dog of the family, which is quite an accomplishment in a family full of tieflings. Her parents, two well-off merchants, took any tiefling orphan they came across, and they ran into Alma on a stormy night in a dark alley, where she tackled over the dead body of the pigeon.
This'll do.
I don't know.
Here.
How about this?
これからは副団長とお呼びしなければいけませんね。
マイク様大変です。
何をそんなに慌てているんだ。
それがですね、アイク様。
副団長。
申し訳ありません。昇進されましたのに慣れ慣れしくお名前でお呼びしてしまいました。この持論どんな罰でもお受けいたします。そうだ、軍団長を断ったって本当ですか？私だったらきっと。
そんなことより大変な用事じゃなかったのか。
なんだっけな。
小同盟軍のことか。
それですよ。ついに動き出したそうです。昨日の夜、アレスタ攻略を目指していた第二軍団がやられたとか。第二軍団といえば血の気は多いですが精鋭揃いの魔族たちですよ。まさかその軍団が完敗するなんて。
早速小同盟成立の効果が出ている。小同盟とは古の昔人間たちの間で交わされた盟約の一つ。魔王軍の力が強大となり一国では手に負えないと判断された時、大陸に集まる諸国が一致団結して戦う。
過去にも同盟軍ってあったんですか？
かつて三度ほど成立したと聞いている。
Well, look
そして
who's here.
魔王軍は撃退された
Nice
そう。
work.
ここは大丈夫でしょうか？
いや、おそらく次の標的。ここイバリアス。
Thanks. Need any?
本当ですか？
俺たち魔王軍が奪還したアーセナムは重要な拠点だ。
Look into.
そこ
Say
を同盟軍が攻略するには
need any? Perchance bring
最
more.
前線、ここイバリアスを叩く必要がある。一人一人の力は魔族の方が優勢だが、同盟軍の兵の数よ統率され
Welcome
た
to the
攻撃に
world
苦戦
of
する。
shadows, where demons gather. Are you ready? Return.
Of course. True. True. Hey! By the way,
Okay, so, let me see. Okay, so this is where I'm going to, we're going to get a cutscene, and then we're going to get a fight and everything. My eyes feel like they're about to close, so, and it's 11:30, which means I am tired, and everything, and yeah, if any of you ever played a game before and you feel like that, it means it's time to stop.